Hi, problem. I don't know your real name, so I just gonna call you that. Um, I bet you didn't expect this, but yeah, I was just giving feedback to other students, and I really liked your animation. I was like, okay, just let's give him a free video feedback. So here it is. Have to say that I really like the animation, and yeah, just some notes that I think could be improved, but overall, it's really good. So mm, it begins. So you can see from the beginning, see how this intersects with the leg. You don't want Deadpool chopping his leg out. So yeah, just adjust so it's not going through his leg. Um, okay. Here, um, since he's moving to screen left, I would, and he's coming from screen left, then moving to screen right, and then moving to screen left again. Um, I would, for this frame, I would rotate the torso in the opposite direction. So now you have the torso rotating opposite towards the arm lifting, but instead I would see how the head is moving to this side. So rotate the torso in this pose more to this side, to the screen right. So when he moves to the screen left again, it's more like a boom. So, and goes to the right and then boom, moves to the left. So you have that more dynamic, because right now that he starts to move to the left with the head, but for me it feels less organic than if you have that more like vroom. So I don't know how to explain it. I hope I explained it myself. So yeah, I would just keep rotating the torso as the arms are also rotating to this side. I think it makes more sense. Also, this could work as well, but I think it, since he's going to the opposite side, then I think it makes more sense that he rotates with the arms and then uh, moves to the screen left. Mm. Here, I don't know if you can do it, but just whenever you can, if you can avoid hiding the face, so if you can have the arm just either side, but not just hiding the face, because normally you don't want to hide the character's face at any point. You can have breakdowns maybe where the hand is just like hiding a part of his face, but normally even in the breakdowns you want to have the breakdown so it doesn't, it's not just in front of the face, but always leaving the eyes so we can see the eyes. Again, maybe that be in your reference, but for animation, we, as much as we tend to avoid hiding the face. Then another thing that I wanted to point out, notice how on this pose, so okay, he moves the foot forward, but see how it rotates quite a lot, so it feels a bit broken here, quite a lot broken to be honest. But yeah, just see how it flips back and forth. So yeah, just this pose I just would keep the rotation to be aligned with the leg, and then just have that fluid arc to this pose. Then as he moves back, you can see how this leg is moving with the torso quite a lot. Again, I don't have the reference, so I can't tell if that's what the guy in the reference is doing. But what I would do is just in this pose, keep the leg a bit forward, keep the foot a bit forward, so you have that drag back, then you have that acceleration as the foot is moving back, instead of just moving together with the body. You have that drag in this pose, so the foot is still here, and then fast movements and back to the pose. Also, I would probably make the foot already on this pose, so instead of just making the body and the foot get to the pose at the same time, make the foot get to the pose first and then the body. So in this pose, the foot already, for me, I would already reach the last pose, the contact pose. And then the knee, be careful with the knee. See how the knee is pointing down and to the right, and the foot is pointing to the other side, so that would be broken. Just make sure that the knees are always coherent with where the feet are pointing. Also, when he lifts the feet, make sure that you remove the foot roll, so you don't have that bend on the toes. When the foot is lifted, you have that straight, nice, relaxed feet, and then as he plants the foot again, you have that pose. That is great, but this pose, these two poses, just make sure that the foot are not raised, because it feels a bit weird and feels rigid. But I mean, the mechanics are really good. Just it would help if you could show me the reference, but overall it's really good. The last part, I think, is just a bit rigid on the torso, so just look at the reference and see what the reference is doing, because it feels like the torso is quite rigid. So I don't know if you would add a bit more drag, a bit more overlap on the torso and the head, just a tiny bit, because right now it feels that it's moving back a tiny bit rigid. It's not, you don't see any rotations on the torso, so it feels yeah, a bit rigid. So see here, when the arms move, they feel a bit isolated. So you just see the arms moving, but and they move quite a lot, but we don't see but we don't see the chest moving. So so it feels rigid. So maybe when the arms move back, the chest just rotates forward a bit, so it's just a bit of a squash. So it doesn't have to be much, but at least we could see a bit of fleshiness on the upper torso. So maybe just like rotation, and when the arms move up, the chest rotates back, so it just pops up, but having that variation on the rotations of the chest. So as the arms move forward and back, as they move quite fast, maybe having that and then rotating back again, getting ready. And for the settle, I would create a bit more overlap. So you see, I like how you created that overshoot, that back and forth, but again I feel like the torso is a bit rigid, so I would maybe, and the head, you see how the torso and the head are pretty much locked on the place, they don't have any overlap. So on the head as well, when you have that those movements, let's see here, yeah, it's basically at the end. So here, maybe as he's moving back, he stops the movement. So he's moving to the screen left, he stops the movement with the feet, and then see how the roots, the hips are going to the right. That's the perfect moment for the chest to be rotating to the opposite side. So it's like, so you have that, stops the movement and then causes the chest and the head to that, make that whip-like motion, like it doesn't have to be much, but just a tiny bit, so we can feel the impact of the feet stopping the movement on the upper chest, on the chest. So it's just a tiny bit that you could add. So instead of just like rigidly moving back and forth, just having that boom, I think that would add a lot to the animation. I would say as you move along, just track the sword, the tip of the swords, and make sure that they are creating arcs all the time. That the sword doesn't move from this pose to this pose to this pose, but you have that boom, that fluid motion. So it's not, it doesn't feel like a pop in between. But yeah, you'll have to figure out that on the next phase. But yeah, I mean, overall it's really, really good. So great job, and really looking forward to see it finished. So I hope my small video feedback helped. As I said, I just saw your animation and I was like, oh, I'm doing more video feedback, so let's just do a small video feedback for this guy. So yeah, I hope you liked it, and see you around.